Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to Official Astrano's podcast. We are so excited today to have our first ever guest with us today. So exciting. So today we have Jen Westwood joining us, Divine Deliverance YYC on Instagram. Jen is a very beautiful light worker. She does hypnotherapy, sound baths. She does breath work, trauma release, inner child healing. She does plant medicine ceremonies. She works with both individual clients as well as does group ceremonies to help refuel, recalibrate, release, all of that beautiful stuff. So incredible work. And we're so grateful to have her here with us today to talk about her journey. And yeah, hello, Jen.
Hello.
Aw, you're so beautiful. Thank you for being our first guest. What an honor.
Thank you for having me, you guys. I'm excited.
Yeah, so today Jen is going to talk to us about specifically just her journey through the false matrix to organic living, to our natural living, and her journey through addiction, which I think we all face in some type of way, you know. And I'm definitely kind of aligned with Jen on like going through more of a severe addiction journey. So I'm excited to learn from you today and hear your beautiful story. And yeah, we hope that Jen's story can bring you guys a lot of inspiration and hope for yourself if you're still struggling with some of these really heavy traumas. Because yeah, you're a beautiful example, Jen. We're so honored to know you and see you blooming and, you know, out there helping others heal. Because I think that's the goal with, you know, any addict who's really struggling with addiction still. Like if you can come out of that and then also help others, it's like incredible. Hey,
Yeah, it's the best.
And fellow YYC Calgary, like connecting with the community. She's such a beautiful part of the community in Calgary. And if you're in the city, like connect with Jen. She holds space for so many people for so many different things. So yeah.
Yep. And listen to the end because we got some gifts coming for all of y'all. But yeah, Jen, why don't you start with just like how it was for you growing up in this world? What's your early life story? You know, like who were you back then? What did you go through as a child, as a teenager? We'll start there, I think, with your story.
Yeah. Growing up in this world, I definitely always felt very out of place and unaccepted. I think, especially through childhood, there was a lot of inner child wounding that took place of feeling a cast and apart from, whether that was family, kind of social settings in school or dance or whatever I was a part of back then growing up. I grew up in like a Baptist church that was also very offsetting at the time for myself. Just very a cast and aside from. So I think a lot of my childhood was spent really trying to stifle my authentic self and just all of my authenticity at that time, when I think that's such a time of navigating and exploring who you are in your own divine essence. And I didn't have the freedom, or I didn't feel that I had that freedom to explore those pieces of myself back then or share them with anybody at all. So that started off kind of on that note, I guess. Family-wise, I had great parents. I had a great family growing up. My dad was an active alcoholic my whole life. He passed away when I was like 20 years old from alcoholism. My mom's side, I feel more codependent kind of addict behaviors. So I definitely had the influence from my family, from that lineage kind of coming down the line and ending up with me here again. But yeah, no, definitely just feeling very apart from. And I think that really put me in a very victim mentality as a child, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And the numbing out, right? Like, it's so common. We just did a bunch of cleansing and we were like surprised that even with food, even if you're eating healthy, but you're overeating and snacking a lot, like, it's always about numbing the body.
Yeah.
You know? And so, yeah, guys, like, this can come in so many different pieces and places in your life where you're numbing out. Yeah, incredible. And so, like, when did your journey with addiction start? Like, when did you start to notice that, okay, I'm like having these, you know, big traumas and big addictions coming in?
Yeah. So I think when I knew I had a problem, probably was with substance for sure in my life. But it did manifest in a lot of other forms. As we're saying, it comes in all these different masked faces. But yeah, for me, I think probably end of high school was when I really knew something was going astray. And you know, when everyone parties in high school, everyone does whatever in high school, right? We're all letting loose, figuring out who we are. And then some people kind of stopped and went into like growing and moving on with their life, and I did not. And I think I just dove further down that rabbit hole. So for myself, that's kind of when a light bulb went off and I really started to look at it and go, oh, okay. But then again, still kind of just numbing that body, whether that's like the spiritual body, mental body, physical body, just numbing it so that I didn't have to look at my own behavior, and just accepted that, right? I didn't feel accepted from anywhere else. So just accepted whatever I was doing as okay and appropriate and all good for myself. And then it wasn't till like, even I remember when my dad was sober for a brief time, we went to like a Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, and they called on me to share in the meeting. And I was like, oh no, I'm not an alcoholic. No, I'm just here to support my dad, you know? And it was just funny. And then even after his passing and all this stuff, whatever, years later, that's when it really crossed the line for me. And it just like nothing I was doing was a choice anymore. And it kind of, it just, the rug got taken completely out from under my feet. So yeah, that was kind of when I was like, oh God, like this is it. Yeah.
So like a big loss. And then, if you already have addictions and then you go through a big trauma and don't know how to deal with that, you know what I mean? Because we are just like not taught how to deal with emotion, like we're saying, even since children. And so, if you lose a parent that young, that's not, I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
I love you.
I love you guys.
So I would say that maybe that was like when you started noticing your addiction getting a lot worse, like did you, or I guess maybe like when you started figuring out that you had a problem and okay, I'm gonna start dealing with it, what were some of the main like roots of that addiction? So obviously probably the loss of and the grief of your father.
Yeah. So I'd say loss and grief, of losing my dad for sure was a root. But underneath, that wasn't even one of the main roots actually for me. I think the biggest root of all of that was that inner child trauma for myself, and feeling so unaccepted and feeling so unseen and unheard and just like invalid, whether that was myself kind of inducing that on me or others or whatever that looked like. But I think the main one was all inner child, and then kind of little branches off of that main root of inner child. wounding. Yeah.
That is so interesting.
We do a lot. We talk a lot about inner child healing. Like that is the main cause for so much in everybody's life, no matter how old you are or how far you've gone in your life or like what you're experiencing. Like the inner child hurting is like gonna follow you around till you deal with it, you know, kind of thing. So that's deep work.
It is.
And it is the reason I think so many people get lost in addiction, like you're saying, or numbing, or like even for, I feel like this is a broad thing that many people experience is like, my family doesn't care about me, or like I'm like, there's some kind of like separation because it's so hard to feel the love from people sometimes with the way society works right now. So it's a hero's journey.
That's interesting though that you noticed it was all like the biggest roots were the inner child. Do you mind like sharing what one of those were, like that you came across?
Yeah, I think the biggest ones for me were probably that feeling unheard and unseen, and I think that really showed in my behaviors, kind of becoming louder and bigger and brighter, but in really harmful ways. And you know, like when you get into like the party scene and all this, that the Matrix stuff, right? Then I just think you want to be like the craziest one, and you want to, you know, like, I'm going to jump off the roof into the pool. Everybody watch me, you know? And so I think, feeling really unseen and unheard. And then I think fear was like a really, really deep one as well. And it's not even just the fear, I guess, generalized, because we all experience different levels of that all through our life. But I think it was just a really deep inner child fear of like not being enough, or not like, I don't know, being alone, or, you know, not having, just lacking, I guess, like a fear and lack.
Missing that connection.
Yeah.
It always comes back to connection, you know? Some of the stuff anyways. With addiction, this disconnect, this separation. Because that's kind of a question. I think I'll just bring it up now since it's coming up. But like, how much of your healing of your addiction came, like, you know, how in AA they teach you to like connect to something greater than yourself? Like, what has been your experience with that, and like how much validity would you place on needing to connect with something outside of yourself that's bigger, like this, you know, soul mission and your soul and all that stuff?
I would place 100% importance upon this. It's really, really big. So I guess just to mention it, so I did go through AA and a little bit of NA in my time. You take what you want from those programs and you leave what you don't, is all I'm going to say. But it does hold a very dear place in my heart, because I feel it is a huge stepping stone to why I am here today and able to do things like this. But so connecting with that higher power, something greater than yourself. Like I said, like I grew up going to like a Baptist church, and that was great for a lot of things in my childhood and in my life today as well, but not so great in a lot of others. And I think it just really, I had a very corrupt kind of and like skewed vision of God and whatever, like source, everything. It was very harsh and judgmental and unkind. And so I think going into a recovery setting, when it's so heavily placed on some kind of spirituality and higher power and God and divinity, that was some it was a hurdle for me to get over, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But once I did get over it, that is a huge, huge, huge foundation. Connecting with your soul's purpose. I feel like present day, I just feel so connected that things just happen. I don't like, you don't have to worry about anything in life. You just have to do the next thing in front of you, and you're gifted with like the most beautiful, magical things. And if you just can't sever that connection to source. And I think once you really get a solid, firm foundation and connection in that way, I think it's really uphill from there. Yeah, that's a big sigh of relief.
Nice. Yeah, that's incredible. I've noticed that too with like wound healing, or when I started to like integrate my soul finally, right? I actually had a reading done by a friend who does quantum work, and she was like, yeah, your soul's just starting to integrate. And at that point, it was like when I was just healing my addictions. So it was interesting that both those things were aligning. My soul was finally coming in and my addictions were falling away. And I've noticed that with wound healing too, right? Like as we heal, the resonance within changes. And so you just, like, you're right, like you just live it, like it just comes, because it's like how the mechanics of energy work in the universe, right? And resonance. So
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And so what was the point? Because I think for others who are going through extreme trauma and addiction, have addictive tendencies, like what was your like point where you hit rock bottom, if you want to call it that, or like started to open up to the idea of healing? What was that for you specifically? I know this could be unique for everybody, but
yeah, good question. I just think each individual has to hit a bottom sufficient enough to provoke some vast change. That bottom looks different, yeah, like you said, for everybody. For myself, I don't know if I can like pinpoint it specifically. I knew there was about a year that I was pretty concerned about myself, and I really, really wanted to make some vast change, whether that was within myself or my behaviors or what I was doing with my time, whatever. I just knew it was almost like a slow build of this like energy of like, okay, something big is coming, and like this old self is ready to go and ready to kind of die and move on. And it took months and months and months of, I had one really amazing friend at the time, and every Wednesday she'd be like, okay, so we're gonna go to a meeting or something. Yeah. And then Wednesday would come and I'd be off and doing whatever. I'd be like, oh no, I can't go. And it was so long of doing, that step forward, 3 steps back kind of dance, and just really resisting that release of this old version of myself and this old wound within myself. And I just remember, for me, the day that I really made that decision was right after my 23rd birthday. And obviously it was wild. And I was at the gym like a couple days after that, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I think back then I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was just, I feel kind of low, and I think this is when I'm ready to make this change. But now, having this awareness over it, I think it was actually making this direct eye contact with myself in the mirror, and like my soul, like doing that soul gazing almost. And just, like the light really went on, and I was like, okay. And I just left the gym, and I like ended up at a meeting, and so I couldn't pinpoint it, but I guess that would kind of be.
Wow. Yeah, that cracked you open enough, because it's hard. Like when you see yourself on a soul level, when you're self-abusing your human self, it's heartbreaking. Like I've had a couple moments where I've like been so heartbroken for the way that I've treated my human self and been able to see it from that outer soul perspective. And you're just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I love you so much. Like I'm so sorry for the pain you're in. So yeah, that's beautiful. And then this like goes into this, I guess, like addiction is so heavy, right? Like because you're in that catch-22 where you're numbing your traumas but you know what I mean, you can't heal the trauma until you stop numbing so much. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to get out of the cycle. Like you just said, that was kind of your moment to do that. And then the problem also is momentum for people. Like how the hell do you stay in healing long enough to like escape using again? You know what I mean? So what were the biggest things that got you through that? Like you're saying, kind of your meetings. Was there a certain healing technique that you found early on that was like, I love this, and you know, you got obsessed with it so you could keep the momentum, or what was that for you?
Yeah, so I think finding some sort of community for sure is number one, for my own journey anyway, and from what I've witnessed with others, whatever that community looks like. So when I say I found meetings, right, like it wasn't just AA or NA or these 12-step programs. Like there's so many. There's some that are Buddhist based. There's some that are half yoga class, half meeting, half whatever, you know, it's beautiful. There's so much community out there. So those were the first communities I kind of took part in, and then that branched out from there. And then I was a member at these communes, and then I was whatever, you know, doing breath work and this and that, and doing meditations with people. And I think having some sort of community is utmost important, but I think having a community that holds you accountable in a healthy way, where they can hold space for you walking your own journey as well, but support you in those choices that you're also making. Big, big, big. And then I think, yeah, for keeping that momentum, just I think those meetings and stuff like that really helped me establish some kind of routine in my life of, okay, like every, you know, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8 p.m., I'm going to this meeting, right? And you're committing to yourself, and you're getting that routine of doing something self-care, like doing something, committing to your self-love and your growth and your development. And yeah, getting out of your comfort zone and just like being vulnerable and open with people. I remember when I first got sober and entered kind of this spiritual journey, I couldn't talk like in front of anybody about this stuff, right? I was so shy. I was like always having anxiety about it. And now it's like, anyone want to talk about it? It's good. But yeah, keeping the momentum, I think, yeah, getting some kind of routine, community, and then big self-care, whether that's literally just having like a bath every night, if that's the level that you're feeling, or if that's committing to, breath work was big, big, big for me. Anything that got me out of my head and into my physical body, that was huge for me. Yeah, for sure. Just to allow the trauma, and just allow all of my cells and all the information that was stored within my body to really kind of speak. Yeah, allowing space for that.
And how did that release work look for you? Because I know in the beginning, right, like that's when maybe some people might want to hire like someone like yourself to hold space with them if they're dealing with a big trauma and they're just on the path of starting that, because you might not be able to fully ground your love while dealing with a huge chaotic wound. So for you, did you do like scream work in the beginning? How did you deal with that deep trauma? Did you have a healer here and there to help you?
Yeah, good question. Yes. So yeah, not a lot by myself. A lot of the stuff by myself was more like journaling, really like soft work. I find that is what I would just do by myself. And then from there, I found different mentors, different coaches to work with. So yeah, I got really into holotropic breath work, huge releases there. Just other forms of breath work as well that are a little bit less intense. And then sound healing was huge for me too. Huge, huge, huge. I had some amazing mentors there, whether that was just for personal or then, later on when then I was called to, here we are, and now I'm facilitating this. But yeah, I think those are very needed. Very needed. Yeah.
The sound healing, it's so powerful. Hey, like we went to our first drumming circle, like big drumming circle the other night.
I saw that. Yeah, it looks so cool.
It was crazy, just like everybody together, like, and it creates like this symphony of like intense, beautiful energy, like a surgence of love. And it also like brought me back to like past lives where we would be connecting in that way all of the time, you know? And it was just like, wow, this is what it's meant to be. Community, that space where we're all together, loving, supporting. Like, it's a big piece of what we're missing nowadays, I feel. It creates that trauma and that separation and that like sadness, like, oh, I don't like, you know, like it just creates that numbness. So
I think it's so beautiful hearing about like the drum circles and everything, because there's so many different ways to connect on these levels, right? And I feel like the drum circles, the sound healing, like all those things, it's such a high frequency, like love kind of vibration, but connecting with others, there's so many, even when I'm talking about like the holotropic breath work and stuff, when I'd have even mentors with all of that stuff, still high vibrational, I'd say, but like very different feel to it, where I'd be like thrashing around and screaming and crying and stuff, but it's still such a beautiful connection with like another human being holding space for literally whatever is coming out, right? And it's just beautiful. I know.
Oh, that's amazing. So with sound healing specifically, like if someone wanted to start, you know, being in a sound bath, how would you recommend that? Like look for, like you're saying, groups in their environment, or do you do that as well? Like online if they don't live here, or like, you know, where's the best places to find sound healing?
I would say locally for sure. I am not a fan of the online sound baths, just because it's not, you don't get the real good stuff in there. I don't know. But definitely in person. I'm sure wherever you live, there has to be somebody, some crazy bowl lady like myself who's got their whole little setup. But in person, absolutely. There's a lot of people who offer group sound baths. Like I'll usually do a couple times a month, like a big class. So it's drop in whoever wants to come. And then a lot of people do it individually as well. So kind of just whatever you're comfortable with. And
but in person. I was wondering that. I was like, because there's the YouTube, like, you know, sound baths, but I never can fully get into those. So I just wanted to know what your perspective was on that. So guys, if you're in Calgary and YYC, Jen's got you. If you're somewhere else, check out your meetup groups in your city and stuff like that. And so like with where you're at now, which is this beautiful angelic light, by the way, how long has it been, first of all, since your addiction? Like how many years has it been?
For everything, on April 8th, it'll be 5 years.
Oh my God, that's a big one. Are you gonna do something really special? Oh, that's amazing. Good. Congratulations. Good for you. And what would you say is the biggest difference that you're seeing? Like, you look at your past self that, like, you know, grew up in this sick system society and had these addictive tendencies, like the personal traits and beliefs of that Jen versus the Jen you are today. Like, what would you say the biggest difference is in how you feel like your resonance now?
Oh my gosh, I don't even feel like the same person. I always say that. I'm like, you're lucky in this human experience when you feel like you've lived 100 different lives in just this one human experience. Like, it's
100%.
honestly such a blessing. Yeah, I would say huge self-love, huge connection to source for sure. Just being able to really, like, just so much love and connection that you just emit that to others, right? Like, that's all I want to do is like connect with other people and like share that love and that light with like anybody, absolutely everybody, right? And then I think non-judgment of the self, as well as no judgment for other people for the most part. Like, I'm still human, so a little bit, right? I watch The Bachelor, so like a little bit of judgment sometimes. But yeah, for the most part, just empathy. And my window of tolerance has grown so much where you just allow. You can just, I think now it's so less restrictive, and I'm just able to live in this like divine flow state. Of just acceptance, and I don't know, you can't live in fear and love at the same time. And I feel like I'm just so far into the love side that like it's just really calm and grounded and connected.
Wow. Yeah. And that's 5 years of healing.
That's 5 years of healing.
Wow. Where are you going to be in 10 years?
I don't know. I know. Baby. I can't wait to see it.
Changing the world. That's where you're going to be.
Yeah.
So take us through kind of just to give people idea of what your daily life is like, your daily routine right now. How does that look for you in this healing process, just to show people?
Okay, so daily routine. I have no daily routine, and that is the best part. I feel some people really thrive. I don't think I'm like a type A personality, so I can't do the daily routine. But I think if I had to put one word to something daily, it would be just intuitive. Whether that's what I'm ingesting, like eating and putting in my body. Some days I feel like doing a yoga flow in the morning. Some days I feel like doing a crazy breath work, or just like an intuitive movement and just like literally throwing my body around and whatever, and just some sort of connection daily. And then just intuitive living. I find just no restrictions, kind of like coming back to my childhood and just that restriction, right, on like who I was and what I was doing and how you should look and behave and all this stuff. Like, no, there's no limits anymore. It's whatever I feel.
That's a beautiful way to live too. Hey, because I feel like you're actually more efficient if you live that way than if you have like a standard routine that you have to follow. As long as you, like you're saying, you're getting your connection in and like the background bass frequencies you're tapping into, like healing, then
100%. Because I think we think that we know what we're supposed to be doing all of the time. But like a lot of the time too, your soul or your body will know much better than your mind, of course, right? Like it'll prioritize something else, and then the day will just go so smoothly. I find if I do like that routine, like I have so much extra time. I don't feel stressed or cramped or trapped or like, you know, like what restrictions and all of this stuff does. And super strict routine, like that's powerful. I want to get on that vibe too.
Yeah, I think that's how we're actually organically meant to live.
Yeah.
Like follow the body, follow the soul, the intuition, like in each and every moment, you know? Because then you're hitting your destiny perfectly always, you know, and all that stuff. Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. Thank you for sharing that with everybody. So yeah, I think we just want to like end today's talk with, I want to know how like it felt for you to step out and be able to like offer your healings publicly. Like what has that experience been like for you? And how has that touched you?
Yeah, it's been the most magical thing I've ever experienced in my life. So unexpected, honestly. I never dreamt in a million years that this is where I would be right now. And the wheel just keeps kind of turning, and like it's like a snowball effect almost, right? And I don't even know what I started, honestly, with. I couldn't even tell you. Maybe teaching a couple yoga classes or meditations. It started nothing. I did not think anything of it. Maybe I subbed a class or something, but and then it just kept going and going and going, and now it's like retreats and all the like just every, you know, I have businesses reaching out to me to collaborate and do different, and I'm like, oh my gosh, me? Like, okay, yeah, sure. So it's been just magical and so divine, so rewarding, and I just feel so privileged to be able to witness so many people's journey, have so many people become just vulnerable and open with me. Like, it's just, it's such a humbling sensation, I guess, when it's a total stranger just completely confiding in you, right? And there's something trusting about that, even, you know, to trust my own self and say, okay, yeah, like this is, I'm meant to be here. But yeah, just such a huge privilege. A lot of women for sure at the beginning, I just watched go from such a dark and confused state. Just now they live in such a loving frequency as well, and just embody self-love and just embody this light and can live in that same flow state. And I just like that, to me, is so powerful. And now it's like leading into more men, and I don't know where that's going either, but it's really, oh my gosh, it's really cool. Yeah.
What's coming up with the men specifically that you've got going on?
I did my first large men's circle, I think at the beginning of this month. And so powerful. So, and we were asked to do it multiple times again in the future. Wow. So I don't know, to be continued. I don't know where that's going yet, but it's going somewhere. So
that's beautiful. I do feel the divine masculine, or the masculine in general on the planet, is like stepping into that healing process right now, majorly.
Big time. Yeah.
Hey, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Good for you. Yeah. We need people doing the men's stuff. So keep it up. Yeah. Definitely look out for that stuff, guys. So yeah, Jen, I know we're going to give everybody a discount code. So Jen's just going to tell us what she has going on so you guys can find her and where you can find her and her healings, her groups. Like she's saying, she does retreats, which are absolutely incredible. And you'll definitely get that group aspect or the community aspect when you go to the in-person retreats if you're in Calgary. So yeah, let us know what's going on right now with all this stuff.
What's going on? Yeah. Definitely, yeah, give me a follow, give me a message if you guys are interested. Every month there's at least 1 to 2 events going on. Individually, I'm working at Vivid Psychology at the moment, so any one-on-one sessions, that's where I will be. So yeah, if you guys mention this podcast, you're welcome. You guys can receive 20% off a one-on-one session with me if you feel called to do so. And yeah.
Beautiful. And do you do online one-on-one sessions, like
Yes.
healings?
Yeah, I
Yes.
also do online as well. I won't do online sound healing, but any of the other, individual work, absolutely online.
Like
available.
trauma healing, inner child healing, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, guys. Yeah. So just message Jen on Divine Deliverance, YYC.
On Instagram and Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to drop that right here. So check this out. You can go see her Instagram, DM her, and just use the discount code Astrano. And yeah, happy healing, everybody. We love you so much, Jen.
Thank you,
oh,
Jen.
Love you
this
guys.
is a beautiful, beautiful conversation. We're so feel so blessed to have you as our first guest on Astrano. So you set the tone for the healing, for the journey. And yeah, thank you everybody who watched. Check out all of Jen's stuff and stay tuned for all the rest of the stuff that's to come.
Yeah, we love you all so much. Thank you,
Bye,
Jen.
bye.
Thank you guys.